Hello, everybody. I'm Joe McGovern, awards reporter at TheWrap, and we are very happy to have you here for our 2021-2022 awards screening of The Intruder with director Natalia Meta and actors Érica Rivas and Daniel Hendler. And The Intruder is Argentina's Oscar entry for Best International Feature. We're going to show you the trailer for The Intruder, and then we'll go right into a conversation with our panelists. And to our audience, please take part in the live stream of the live chat of the stream, and let us know where you're from and share your thoughts about the film. And now let's take a look at the trailer for The Intruder.
¿Te fuiste a psiquiatra?
Sí, fui. Y me dio unas pastillas. Pero no las estoy tomando.
¿Y por qué no las tomas?
Porque me traen pesadillas.
Por el hombre de tus sueños.
Leopoldo. Leopoldo.
Acabo de encontrarme con mi exnovio. Muerto.
Te enamoraste del prófugo.
Welcome back. It is my pleasure to introduce Natalia, Érica, and Daniel.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
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 So congratulations on the film and on the selection, which is wonderful. I so enjoy when movies like this are picked by their country. Really challenging films, but also very entertaining. A real play with genre. And so I want to start, Natalia, this is your second feature.
Yes.
Everybody should go, if they haven't seen Death in Buenos Aires, which is wonderful, your first feature.
Thank you.
But what, can you discuss what attracted you to this project? It's based, a little bit based on a novel.
It's inspired in a novel called The Lesser Evil by C. Failing, an Argentinian writer. I read the book and it was immediately drawn to it, but it was quite a very gore horror story. So I thought I wasn't going to be able to make a film out of it. It was ideal for a film, but I thought it was too harsh for me. But the central idea of these characters from dreams who want to get into our world, who want to move and live with us, and maybe take possession in a way, was very attractive, and I found a way in which maybe to see it in a more positive light, in the sense of making the joy of making fantasies come alive.
Yes. So you kind of just explained a little bit about what the plot is, but and we'll keep it. We won't be too specific. We'll be a little more vague because there's a lot of fun, interesting twists. But the Intruder, which is it could also mean like the fugitive.
Yes.
The translation is The Intruder is something from our dreams that even when we wake up, it's still in us. Is that right?
Yes, it's right. It's a very beautiful way of putting it. It's something from, like, when you call the restos diurnos of the dreams, the things that remain from the dream that you can still remember, that in a way stay with us when we wake up. And this is the idea that they visit our world and maybe start being more real than what we would expect.
Yes. And there's an incredible, this is not a spoiler, I'll be very brief in describing an incredible shot, two shots actually, of sort of a serpent in the bed.
Yes.
Which is a way to visualize this thing. Well, the last Argentinian film that got nominated for Best International Film was Wild Tales, an incredible movie, a very dangerous movie, a dangerous comedy. And the last segment, it's a bunch of short stories. The last segment stars Érica in an incredible, darkly humorous scene as a bride. I'm curious, Érica, to ask about this part in The Intruder. And was it somewhat similar in terms of what attracted you to the role?
No, I don't think so. I think that this is something that comes from another part. I think that this is love thriller story, but with a humor, the comedy touch. And the other was another kind of thing. The other was something about the violence and something that I wanted to tell to tell about in that moment of my life. But this is something that for me is something that I want to tell in this moment. This moment that is very important to tell stories about women, about the desire, about the struggles with ourselves, and with a touch of comedy too, of humor. That's something that I want to explore.
Yes. You play a character here who is a professional singer, but she also works in the film industry. She records voices for translations of films. Was there a research process for you?
Yes.
We did a lot of research. We dubbed the films. We practice a lot. But I will let Érica explain. But we did a lot of research in this area and in many areas. It was one of the most wonderful things of doing this film. The time we spent together in research, and with Danny also, and also yes rehearsing. And we dubbed many short pieces of films to practice and work with a coach. So I will let Érica tell you about it, how she felt about it.
No, please tell you.
Well, we did it very seriously because there is another inspiration for the film, which was that in my first film, I had a very long via satellite dubbing experience. The sound technician said it was the longest dubbing in Argentina's history. It was it was with Demian Bichir, which did his self dubbing because he had arrived a bit late for the shooting of the first film, and so we didn't have enough time on set, so we did it afterwards. And it was a wonderful experience. There I started learning, and it was also a bit like I found it very disturbing because I started getting to know what all you can do with voices, like all the distortions, and I was really scared by this and fascinated. So this I already started thinking about this and writing some scenes that then merged into this idea of the book. At this time, and then I went to see different kinds of dubbings, the dubbing, the more industrial ones, where you do it with the voice of together with the voice of the foreign, the original actor, and in film you do it with no voice. You hear it, so it's quite different, and we practice both things a lot.
And certainly it's a major part of the plot of the movie, including the distortion of sound. It's very important. Well, so Daniel, I want to include you. Natalia, the opening title comes at about 20 minutes into the
Yes.
so the first, which I love, the first 20 minutes is sort of like a beginning, a prologue, and that features Daniel and Érica sort of on a holiday trip that ends badly. Basically, it ends with Daniel's character's demise. However, though, Daniel, your presence, you are a part of this film much after the moment in which your character leaves. We see you a couple times in the film, and we also feel that you're present. So what was the first conversations with Natalia about your character?
It was like, it will be very funny. So just a few days. No, it was. No, I was worried about this thing that my character ends. I mean, not really ends, but in the 21st minutes, because I thought my mom will think that I will not in the movie because it's starting now. But no, this is. I think it's very interesting what you said about how the character leave the movie, but at the same time born or is a transition of another thing that is the real mysterious of the film. So it was very attractive for me, the script, and when I talked with Natalia, I think I understand that she really wants to put me in an ambiguous role, like shooting a very big kind of sensations. I don't know how to say.
Yes.
We had a lot of conversations about how to equalize the part of the funny part in the character and the best part in the character, or to be able to keep them like together, like two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
And I think Danny did this magnificently.
Yes. Well, thank you. No, because the idea was to add layers, not to choose, and it was, I think, the most interesting part of this work, because we don't have to choose. Okay, my character is the intruder or not. My character is violent or is nice. I mean, it's all at the same time, but not in a just in a mysterious way. Because they have all at the same time. It's like a spirit game. Or maybe it's like in when we are sleeping, that there are happening a lot of things at the same time, and it was very complex and very, very interesting.
Well, and it certainly works for that character, because he's actually a sweet guy, but he is also, he's kind of annoying. We say he means well, but he doesn't. He's not always the best partner. Well, I want to talk about dreams, and also stick to the first 20 minutes of the movie, because there's one of my favorite parts, where Erica's character is having a dream on an airplane, and Natalia, you shoot it all in one take, no cuts. So the entire thing unfolds. She's having her dream and then wakes up from her dream, but there's never a cut. And I love that quality. It's she dreams that Daniel is being murdered by a flight attendant, actually. And tell me about your approach, Natalia, and then maybe Érica can talk too as well about depicting dreams on screen.
Well, this was quite a challenge because in images, it's very obvious when something is not according to reality. So what we tried to find was like small details that would make us unsure about where we were standing. No, then you suddenly realize you are in the midst of a dream. But what was important was to have this uncertainty about in which territory we were striving, and so it seemed very important to show that dreams and reality, or when we are asleep or when we are awake, it's part of the same scene, to say it, or yes, of the same take. So to give them unity, no, because this is one of the central ideas of the film, I think, not to try and separate what originally should be united, or to divide the different layers, as Danny said, but to be able to live them together, no, as maybe to live contradictions, to be able to, and not to try to solve them or to separate them, or to, this is a central idea. So I don't know, I think maybe it was something which someone suggested in when we were in pre-production, that we could, and that we could try and not cut. And we had more scenes with this idea, but well, unfortunately, there is one that didn't get into the into the movie. But we were very keen, and we did a lot of work with Barbara Alvarez, the photographer, so that it worked, and we rehearsed a lot also with the actors. So it was, and it was beautiful that we could achieve it, because it's not that easy.
And Érica, can you tell us about that? Because it's inside of your head that a lot of this film takes place, perhaps all of this film. So can you sort of discuss more about what Natalia was saying? Maybe even talk about the choreography.
Yes, we worked with Diana Scheinblum rehearsing. That is a choreographer, very interesting in Argentina, and she gave us, I think, that probably the movements to think and to feel this not limit between the reality and the dreams. When we are waking up, when we are in one dream, and that, for me, that was very interesting to have all the time in my landscape, to feel all the time when I was playing the role, to give to the character this movement, to I don't know, to be not so in one place, in one reality, that, and it was very difficult, because we always, like a main character, are with the audience, wanting to have them with us and showing this is happened, but now it's something that you see that. Did you see that? I don't know. This is real all the time, and that was very interesting for me, and that's something that I think that amplify my heart and my personality too, and this is something that have to do with the sound too, with the movements too, and that's something that I couldn't work like that.
Yeah, it's wonderful in the film, the number of times where you have something going on in the background to make us in the audience a little bit uncomfortable. There's a scene where Érica's in the sound booth and all these people are walking around behind the glass, and we were like, what is going on back there? And it kind of can be explained ultimately. But Natalia, talk about thinking about the audience in this film and wanting, to always have us in the audience be questioning what we're seeing in front of us there.
This for me, this was the main issue, no? Because it's something that the film is not only about women's desire, and not only about love or about the fear of love, or it's not just a film about the uncanny. I think it is mainly about the human condition of uncertainty, and this is the idea of not knowing where you are standing, if what you are seeing and what you're feeling is real, or if you're just dreaming is central. And I think now with the pandemic, and it's even more relevant. No, it's more like on the surface, but I think it's like the central aspect of human condition, and that what we have as a compass is our desires, and that's the way we try to find our way. So for me, it was very important that you couldn't really solve easally what was happening, and I get very happy when people say that after the film they discuss what happened and what was the nature of things. This makes me very happy, because I think we achieved something of what we intended to do.
Yeah, well, and I'm curious to say first off, I think this is a very I think this is a unique film and a very new take on this dream versus reality subject. But I'm curious to ask about other films or other books or things that might have influenced you. Because when I was watching, I thought about a great Argentinian movie, The Headless Woman.
Yes, of course.
I thought about Black Swan, the Natalie Portman film.
Yes.
That's darker and more serious. This actually has a better sense of humor, I think. But do you want to discuss that? Maybe were there things, maybe even movies outside the genre that you thought about or looked at?
There were a lot of movies as references. Vertigo, for example.
Yes.
And then, of course, the Natalie Portman movie. And The Headless Woman. I think most of Lucrecia Martel's films, which I admire immensely, have a very, very important aspect set on the way in which formally horror is portrayed, but taken on a different, or understood on a different level, or used differently. I think this is one of her great contributions to the language of cinema. Yeah. So in this sense, of course, Lucrecia helped me also a lot. She gave me a lot of advice for this film. She read the novel, and I think there's a lot of help from her films in in the movie. Also, the work with sound, which is so important, and I found so fundamental to be able to convey this idea, because sound is very helps us a lot to understand the way in which dreams work and how dreams can become real, no? Because it has this bodiless reality. Then other films, I don't know, of course, the films by David Lynch,
Yes.
Mulholland Drive, mainly. Then there's a very wonderful film called Dos Disparos, Two Shots, by Martin Rechman, which has this idea of a sound inside a person. And I love this film. I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I think this idea emerged also. What else? Enemy by Villeneuve was an important film. Well, Danny?
Daniel?
Why not Punch Drunk Love? I think
Yes.
the aspect of this link between dream and reality.
Yes.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
It's a-
and I like that. That's a good example also because of the energy of this film. You know, it's I don't think this movie would work if it was so serious and so dramatic. I think that there's a playful quality going on here in some of the scenes. Yes, and I also thought of, in addition to David Lynch, I think that some of the work of Brian De Palma,
yes.
creating this mood, you know, is also apparent.
De Palma, of course, and I want to mention great Argentinian director, Leonardo Fabio, who has a lot of this element of the exotic or of the dream-like quality, and also a lot of humor, no? Like, he has a film which is called Soñar, Soñar, which is absolutely wonderful, and I think is full of humor. For me, sometimes it's difficult because now people tell me I got scared with the movie, and to me, it's full of comedy. But
Yeah.
I understand.
Well, and those are a lot of good recommendations for people who, if they enjoy The Intruder, check out those other films. But speaking of the comedy quality, I wanted to mention Cecilia Roth, who a lot of us know because of her role in Almodovar movies for like 30 or 35 years. But here she plays Erica's mother, and she's terrific. I mean, she's very funny.
Yes.
It's a great supporting comic relief performance. But I wanted to ask Érica about working with her, and then maybe Natalia can also comment about casting her. A great Argentinian legend, really.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. For me, it was wonderful, and I knew her from too many years ago, and for me, she's the best, and she's very, and is very strange to have a mother so young, you know. And I don't know, and I think that we laugh a lot together, and this kind of being mother and daughter like that. And when she came to the plateau, was very she changed everything, no, Nati?
Yes.
She changed my character too. My character started to be another character.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
She's a very powerful woman.
Yes.
I admire Cecilia a lot. I saw her on TV for many years, and I immediately, when I read the novel, I thought that she should play the mother in the film. And I think with Érica, we were able to develop a wonderful a wonderful cinematographically wonderful mother-daughter relationship. Yes, and I think what Cecilia was able to do was to abandon like the naturalistic approach, and this was what made it so funny and so interesting.
Yes.
So, and also she had these experiences with the voice. When they practiced together, this is one of an anecdote that she told us about with her own mother, and we introduced it into the film.
Really?
So it was very very beautiful. It was a very collaborative film.
And what was the anecdote? Can you share the anecdote that she told you?
No, it's just that her mother was a singer, and sometimes they practice together, the voice exercises, and so all of this about the voice exercise and how it works, and all these details were like from her experience.
Yes. So here's one, two less questions, but one that I'm going to be very careful. The final shot of the movie is over 3 minutes long, and it's quite an amazing achievement. And again, I'll be very careful. What you just mentioned about the voice, the blending of voices is a key part of that final shot. Is there anything you can say for the people on this stream who have seen the movie, but we can be very careful how we describe it, about the making of that incredible final shot?
Érica, do you want to say something about it?
No, I always all that I want to say that they are amazing. Everything was amazing, but the women there are amazing, real, for real. This is something that I don't know, I have to say, because they were so funny.
The choir is a real choir.
It is.
I went to see them to the Colón Theater, and because I have a friend who sings there, and we practice a lot. They are called the Coral Femenino de San Justo, and they rehearse in Ramos Mejía. That is the neighborhood where Érica was born. So we also went a lot to rehearse there. And the shot was very difficult. We had very little time. We had rehearsed a lot. And I think, the assistant director was key in that moment, because we really had to do a lot of things in a very short time. And I still watch it, and I can't believe that we pulled it off. We were shooting many days at the CCK, the symphonic where the organ is. This is all together. So, yeah. But we had run out of time, because we had to. It was very difficult for the musical part and the acting to get together. And I also remember that Érica and me, we were discussing how the take should be and what would be the characters' movements. And I had an idea. Érica had another one, but the one that survived was Érica's take. So this is Érica's take. Yes. I am saying that I think this take, we sometimes did, okay, you want to do this, okay, let's try. But this one is her shot. I thought it was afterwards in the editing room that it was much better. When she turns her head and everything. So I'm very happy we took her advice and did it that way.
How many times did you do it? How many takes?
Well, not so many, because we had run out of times. We usually did many takes. I don't want to say how many takes we did, but it's like, I think it's obscene maybe. But Érica says I have a hard time to say goodbye to a scene, so I need to repeat it. But this, I think we only did 4, 6 or something like that. Not as much as I would have. Fortunately, because everybody was super tired. It was really late. And I think one of the most wonderful things is that I think that we were already in production, and I had the idea of using this song. because
Yes.
we were in pre-production, but it was very last minute. It's a song by the Auténticos Decadentes, which is my favorite band since adolescence. And I think we listened to it when we were doing like costume, and this was key because the song has a lot to do with what happens in the film. I won't. It's very particular, so it was also we were lucky about this.
Yes, and it's even as a foreign language film for us watching. It's even better to read the subtitles because we understand the lyrics. And you're right, the lyrics are very important. Well, the last question, and especially this is even more I want to know from the actors. I'm curious about making the movie and how much of the film intruded in your own life. Like what were your dreams? Did you have more strange dreams while you were working on this? And if not, just curious how much you thought about your own life while thinking about all the ideas that come up in the movie.
Danny,
you want to start?
Well, no, it was very touching because when we were shooting, yes, I had the sensation about when you are recently awaked and you are trying to catch the dream, and the dream is running and escaping from you, and this sensation, I think, is the movie. It's like all the time this tense line between your desire and something is going away from you, and I had dreams 2 weeks ago when I saw the film for the second time. It was hard for me, yes, the night after that, but it's strange because it was now, not when we are shooting. But for the interesting thing when we were shooting that, it's that we all working for Érica's character because we are her monsters. So it was easier for us working on that because you are out of the of the dream theoretically, but in practice we were invited to be part of this very strange and very deep thing that we looked for. But it was very interesting to be her monster because working on that line of being or not being at the same time, it's funny. I think it was funny too.
Yes,
but we were completely transformed by her point of view, Érica's point of view, because we are in this line. Yes.
Yes, for me it was the same. I think that it changes my point of view of the dreams. Now I record my dreams when I wake up and have a dream that I remember. But now I am always thinking about for whom is this dream? To whom? For what is that dream? For what is the audience of this film, is of this dream?
Yes. That's interesting.
Yes, that's something that changes from the film, from shooting.
Wonderful. Well, actually, Natalia, do you want to add as well? I mean, is there anything you wanted to say as well about your own?
I remember Érica's dreams during the film, and she had a lot of dreams about laughing, and I think it affected the way she was dreaming. I remember a little bit about this, but what for me is a wonder, and that it's a great mystery, is that when you make a film, I did too. They have more experience. Maybe they can tell you. something changes in your life in a very, sometimes in a very different way that what actually happens in the movie, but the movie has an effect. So a very mysterious effect in those who participate, unexpected usually, absolutely unexpected. And I think this is a mystery, and it's very similar to the mystery about the relationship between reality and dreams. You don't know what happens, but there's certainly surprises.
Well, I wanted to congratulate all of you on the film again. Felicidades.
Gracias.
And really, just to the audience who have watched this, seek out, those the other films. Seek out the first film that you've made, Natalia, and share with people that there's a pretty fun, dark, strange little thriller here that you should really go and watch. So I want to thank you all so much for joining and talking about the film today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe,
for inviting us.
And thank you everybody else for joining us, and it was great to have you. And also be sure to take advantage of the free trial to Wrap Pro and be the first to know about upcoming Wrap screenings and events. And you can also register for screenings and catch up on any past screenings and much more by visiting TheWrap.com and going to the screenings tab in the main bar. Thank you.